Cold Days by Jim Butcher is the 14th book in the series. Almost there. I think there's 17, so I'm almost done with the series. This has been the best of the series so far. I've enjoyed this one the most. It also happens to be the longest, but that's another part of this. So, 614 pages, 53 chapters. I was really worried about the series jumping the shark. To me, Walking Dead and Game of Thrones, I both really lost interest in those series when one of the main characters was killed and then brought back to life. That just kind of ruined it for me. So I was really worried about that here. With this, I was also worried about, like in The Blacklist, the TV show, the main character has a child and it's just like, you know, everyone uses the child to get to her. And it just, I don't know, it just seemed kind of like, almost like the child gets in the way of the story. And so I was worried about that here, and that might happen soon in the next book. Harry started revealing that he does have a daughter, so that is a possibility. But yeah, I was just really worried about that, and to me, it just kept on going. Like, this series hasn't skipped a beat, and I was super worried about jumping the shark, but it hasn't happened yet, at least in my mind. So, great book in the series, and the opening is with Harry starting his tenure as the Winter Knight. In exchange for healing him and giving him additional powers of the Winter Knight mantle, he was then able to save his daughter, and in return, he becomes a Winter Knight. So now he's fulfilling that obligation to Mab, the Fairy Queen of Winter. The Fairy Queen, Mab, his physical therapy is to try to kill him once a day for over a year. And there are a couple new characters. His physical therapist, Sarissa. There is a new little folk fairy. There is Cat Sith, who I enjoyed. I liked that addition. Cat Sith can't be trusted, wants to maul everything and destroy it, and is super sneaky and stealthy, and is a really interesting character. Could be an ally, could be an enemy. I really like that about that one. The birthday scene is the second part of the opening. Is kind of interesting because, you know, it makes you think about all the different players in the Winter Court. So it kind of introduces you to a few, and I liked that Santa Claus was in the Winter Court. That to me was a really fun part. And, you know, he's got the big, deep laugh and all that. So that was a lot of fun. After the birthday scene, Bob is who Harry turns to. So he has to go find and steal Bob, or get to Bob at least, to find out more information. And of course, Bob reveals that the immortal fairies can be killed, or at least injured, on Halloween. And of course, that's Harry's birthday. So it all kind of comes together. And so, of course, that's the timetable, and the deadline is Halloween, and so he has to get everything in place for Halloween. But, of course, along the way, there's another obstacle. The island that he has claimed or, you know, interacted with is about to explode. So there's that too, and it's kind of like, oh man, just pile it on. So the Winter Court fairies are out to get him. He is the Winter Knight, and his island's about to explode. I didn't really like parts of the birthday scene. I don't know, like, it was cool that it introduced everybody, but it also seemed like, hey, welcome to the party, we're gonna, like, knock you around. I don't know, maybe it was a test, but I don't know what I didn't like about the birthday scene. It just didn't seem to me like it was, I don't know, it just seemed off. I'm not sure. I disliked that Harry didn't really figure out more about Mac. I like Mac's bar. I like Mac as a character, but I feel like Harry kind of just gives Mac a pass and, like, doesn't get more information from him when he really should have. That's not a knock to the series. Like, Mac knows more than Harry, so, like, he can reveal as much as he wants, but it just didn't seem right to me. The last thing that I didn't like about this book was the ritual sites. When they go after him, it's just like, oh yeah, call up Laura, call up the Vikings. And it's just like, they just we're almost at like a beck and call. I mean, I get it, like Chicago's about to explode, like it just, they have, you know, a stake in keeping Chicago alive. Like, I get it, but it just seemed like it was almost too easy. Like, everything's wheeling and dealing and, you know, you help me, I help you, contracts and stuff. And it was just like, make the call and they come and answer. It just didn't seem like it fit. But those were just really minor things. So there was a lot that I liked about this book. The fairy godmother is training Molly, Harry's former apprentice. So that to me was really cool. I really liked the training and that Harry kind of, I don't want to say went easy on her, but didn't make it hard for Molly, right? He didn't inflict pain. He didn't give her the hard knocks that she needed to survive. And I did like that the fairy godmother did do those. Bob communicating with Harry as a movie projector. That was a fun one. Telling a story through like a movie projector. That was really cool. Another part that I really enjoyed was Fix, right? He was friends with Harry before he became the Summer Knight. And of course, they're on opposite ends. So they're kind of frenemies. And of course, Harry reveals that he has a daughter to him. So now Fix has leverage over him. Yeah, that could come back to him, could back to bite him. There was enough twists in this book to keep me guessing. I liked that. Maybe it's because he had to keep running around and investigating people, but I couldn't tell what was going to happen. And that, to me, made it all that more enjoyable. I already talked about Cat Sith. He is an awesome character. I can't wait to hear more about him. The gatekeeper offering to do paperwork, right? Harry died. The White Council thinks he's dead. He's back. Now the gatekeeper is like, do not underestimate this favor. I will offer to do the paperwork for you. So I thought that was really cool that, you know, they're in like this mystical battle. He's like, oh yeah, I'll do the paperwork. No big deal. So Santa Claus was fun. And really the only other thing I wanted to talk about was that I haven't really read anything about the side effects from Harry's gift from his mother, right? The jewel that his godmother gave him from his mother, the passageways that she learned about and recorded, her side effects were that she couldn't sleep at night. But I haven't really seen Harry's side effects, or at least it hasn't been mentioned yet. So more on that later, I assume. I'm not sure. But yeah, quotes. Harry was talking about getting older and, you know, becoming a monster with the winter mantle. And he says, I always thought that it would be easier to be a person as I aged, but it gets more and more complicated and more complex. So that hit home for me. I don't really have anything to add. That just stood out. The last quote I have here is when Harry meets Mother Summer and Mother Winter. So this is Mother Summer. You may not know a knight's peace again. Knowledge is power, young man. Power to do good and power to do harm. Some knowledge can hurt, some knowledge can kill. What happens if I don't have it? Mother Summer smiled, a gentle sadness in her eyes. You keep the bliss of ignorance and consign your fates to fickle chance. Do not choose lightly. Yeah, knowledge is power, and, you know, with that knowledge comes responsibility, right? To do something about it, right? You can learn about other things, other problems that people have, and, you know, you can actively choose to ignore those, but, you know, that could cause pain or suffering to the self, right? Like, I knew about this problem and chose to do nothing. So that was really, really important. And I thought that helps almost, I don't want to say define, but like describe Harry's character, in that when he learns about something, he just kind of goes at it. He doesn't wait around. He doesn't say, oh, I'll do that tomorrow. He's like, this is a problem. I need to fix it. And so that kind of gets him into trouble, right? That's part of this whole series, but that was a really accurate description, I think, in there when talking with Mother Summer. So this was my favorite book yet in the series. So Cold Days, read it, and buy your books used if you can.